What's up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Barbecue. What we're going to be doing today is going to be a raspberry chipotle sauce. This is going to be a take on a sauce that I used to buy all the time at Costco that's perfect with beef, chicken, just any number of different things. Anyway, I'm going to put my spin on it. First thing I'm going to do is bring you guys in so you can see what the ingredients are. Ingredients I'm going to be using for this sauce: we have some fresh raspberries. I have some dried chipotle peppers, and these we're basically just going to throw them in there almost like you would bacon if you were going to be flavoring something. We're not going to actually want this to be in the sauce. It's just going to give it a smoky flavor. We have some garlic that I'm going to have sliced up, and I have some roasted jalapenos here, and these are some sliced onions. So our first step is going to be, and I have some oil, a little bit of oil on the stove. So our first step is going to be to get some of these things roasted up a little bit. So I'm going to take you over to the stove and get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is get our onions, our jalapenos, and our garlic in this pot. We're just going to cook it down just for a little bit. We're probably going to cook it for about 5 minutes, and this is kind of on medium heat. We don't want to burn the garlic, so keep an eye out on that. So I'm going to let that go 5 minutes, then we'll be on to the next step. Down, we're starting to get a little bit of caramelization. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of water just to kind of cover it. Now I'm going to throw in my dried chipotle peppers, and I'm going to let this simmer for a while, let all that smokiness come out. Then once that's done, I'm going to pull them out. The mixture here has been going about 30 minutes. Now I'm going to pull these, and if you can tell, it was just kind of under a simmer. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull these smoked dried chipotle peppers out. Should be enough smokiness in there. Now another option that you do have is you can use something like that product there. I personally think that the sauce gives a little bit of an aftertaste, so I only use this for like marinades personally, but you could use those instead of those dried peppers. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and add our raspberries to this. Okay, now we're going to want to cover it just a little bit more, and we're going to keep it going just under a simmer. So I've had this cooking down for about 30 minutes. This is kind of the consistency that you're looking for. And really, there's not a whole lot of liquid in there. The raspberries are all broken down, and it just smells. I mean, you can smell the raspberries. You can smell kind of that smoky flavor. Now it's time for us to pull this stuff out of the pot and get it in our blender and finish this up. We've got our mixture in our blender. One thing I neglected to mention earlier, you can use white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, you can use any kind of vinegar you want, but you're going to want a little bit of acid in most glazes and things like that you're making. This is more of a sauce than a glaze, but we want some acid in there. So we're going to hit it with some vinegar, and we're going to hit it with some honey. Now you could just use straight up sugar in this if you want. And now we're just going to go ahead and blend this up. We're just going to hit it for a little bit. We don't want to over blend it. So I'm going to pull this out, see if it's ready. If it's not ready, or if it's not the consistency, if it's not thick enough, I'm going to put it back on the stove. But let me pull this out and taste it and see if we need to take another step. So I had everything blended up in the blender, and it came out a little bit thinner than what I'm looking for. Plus I needed to add just a little bit of salt to it. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of salt, get it back on the stove, cook it down a little bit. I want this to be on the thicker side. So once I get it as thick as I want it, I'll let you guys see what that looks like. Then we'll be jarring it up and getting ready for a taste test. Alright guys, so we finally finished up this sauce. I have it jarred, and it is a pretty thick sauce. I don't know if you can kind of tell the thickness. It's kind of like a thick gravy. I really haven't had a chance to taste this yet, and it's fully developed form. So let's go ahead and take a taste and see what's up with it. Alright, you could definitely taste the raspberries. Not a whole lot of sugar. It is sweet, but it's not overpoweringly sweet. Those smoked peppers I put in there definitely brought in some of that smoky flavor. The heat level on it is pretty low. We're talking about like a 2 out of 10 as far as heat goes. It's a little smoother than I want. But next time I do it, I'm not going to run it through the blender. I'm just going to leave it a little bit chunkier. But this is going to go great. I mean, I'm just telling you what I'm going to do next time. This is great the way it is. I'm probably going to be using this here on some steaks or something, like as a finishing sauce or just something to dip it in, or some chicken. Actually, this would be even good if you add a little bit of olive oil to it and use it as a dressing. So this is going to have a bunch of different uses for me. This is a quart. I'm probably going to have this quart done probably in the next, we're probably going to go through this in about 2.5, 3 weeks. Anyway, thanks for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.